They want to make a hole and expand the dormer. That means going right to the outside in the middle of a London winter, which means rain and snow, and that concerns me.
Well, it concerns me too, I can tell you, because we've got to have to make this place watertight. And we also want to light it as well, so we've got long working hours.
Then next is the bathroom, which will remain as the bathroom.
Purple?
We might change the color scheme.
Lively, I would say. A terrace, huh? Well, there's no decking, and there's no railing, and you got to figure out some way to get up here. Other than that, you got a great view.
Funding for this old house is provided by Parks Corporation, makers of safe and simple, environmentally responsible stains and finishes that enrich, protect, and preserve the natural beauty of wood. And by
State Farm Insurance, keeping our promise of protection with auto, home, life, and health insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Isn't this a great town?
Sure is, Steve.
And isn't this a fabulous clock?
I don't know, Steve. I've been checking through my guidebook, and that clock had a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, did you realize that the original bell that was cast for it, when they put it up, they didn't like the tone. So they made the clapper bigger, and it cracked the bell. So then they made another bell, put that one up there, and that one cracked, but they decided to leave it.
So it's still up there?
It's still up there. But the hands, the original hands were cast iron, and the mechanism wouldn't drive them.
I bet.
So then they made them out of gunmetal.
Yeah.
And when the minute hand would reach 12, it would drop several feet. So now you're looking at hollow copper hands.
So there's a whole construction project right there, huh?
And it's a big clock, 23 feet in diameter.
Well, this is our first project offshore, and the reason we've chosen London is because in many ways it's the home of American carpentry, and you'll see a lot more of that as this series unfolds. Well, I think we ought to go right over to the site. You're going to check out the builder, and he's in a place called Bedford Park.
That's right.
And I recommend you take a cab or, of course, the tube, and I'll take you on over to the site. We'll catch up later, okay?
Okay, see you then.
Tally-ho. So you're wondering, where's Steve's truck? You think I'm going to drive in traffic like this on the wrong side of the street? No way. But on the other hand, the underground, or the tube as they call it here, is so good that you really don't need a vehicle here in London. Just 7 stops from Westminster on the Circle Line, and you're in an area of town they call Notting Hill. Well, if you like antiques, this is the place to come. There must be a dozen shops in the area full of all kinds of things. And I'm told we're not far from the famous Portobello Road, where they have this great antiques market every Saturday afternoon. It's a lively corner, isn't it? The same could hardly be said of this area, just a block away. Stately, yes. Distinguished, of course. But lively, not very. Now, I'm looking for Pembridge Place, and I note that there is a Pembridge Square, a Pembridge Garden, a Pembridge Road, a Pembridge Crescent. So wish me luck. Hey, look at this place. Eagles on the roof. Ah. From the looks of it, the sign indicating the treatment of rising damp and dry rot, the scaffolding on the side, the windows out up there. We've arrived. Now, can you see all the way up top there? Not the place where the windows are out, but even above that, that is our subject flat. It's all the way up on the 5th floor. You ready for the climb? Now, the 1st floor appears to be all done up already. And look, there's a baby on the counter. Well, what gets my attention is that we've got a 5th floor walk-up. And walk-up it is because there ain't no elevator. The work's already started here at the 1st floor landing. And there's another apartment right here that's getting worked on. You don't suppose they'd mind if we took a little peek, do you? Got some nice front rooms here. Another one here. Let's go in here. Hey, look at this. Looks like they're making one big room out of two little ones. Nice window down there. Fireplace. Another fireplace over here. And I love the light from this window, too. This is going to be a nice space after a bit of work. Let's go on up. Well, there's another flat here that's getting some work done on it. Maybe we'll peek in there some other day. Clearly, the staircase needs a little bit of work. And way up here at the top is our subject flat and our homeowners.
Hi.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Carla?
Nice to meet you. Hi.
I'm Steve Thomas. So this is Home Sweet Home.
Welcome to our house.
Thanks. Jeremy, you are an American.
That's right.
Carla, you're
Australian. Yes.
Jeremy, I understand you come to London via Tokyo and Hong Kong, and you work in the financial industry.
Right.
And Carla?
I'm working on this. Or
Well,
will be.
hey, that's a good
Yeah.
project. So you've already bought the place, I
That's
understand.
We
So-
signed about 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And it needs a little bit of work.
Not much.
Show me around. Give me the grand tour.
Right through here is one of the main of the 5 rooms, or sort of larger.
Nice big windows in this place. View of the garden. Is any of that yours?
No, unfortunately, that all goes with the ground floor flat.
Ah, well, no weeding.
Always a bright side of everything, I suppose.
What are your plans for this area?
This will be the living room, which will extend by hopefully removing this wall.
Okay, so then we have to look at this place. Then.
Yep.
There's over there.
And this would then be the dining room.
Okay. One continuous space. That's just what they did downstairs. It was real nice.
Yeah.
They had windows all the way across the ends, and it's too bad. Do you think you could somehow extend this window down?
Exactly. What we're hoping to do is extend the dormer down sort of somewhere around through here with putting windows all the way in, gaining the space and just getting more light coming through.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Onward.
Yeah. Okay. The next room would be our kitchen.
Ooh, that takes a little imagination to get a kitchen in here, doesn't it?
Well, again, we'd like to take the wall down,
Yeah.
if possible, and have one L-shape,
Right.
expansive room.
What about the windows here?
Don't know. I mean, if we've got open plan, there'll be a lot of light coming in.
Right.
So maybe cabinets, maybe more windows.
Okay, so that's yet to be determined. What's next, Carla?
Then next is the bathroom, which will remain as the bathroom.
Ah, purple?
We might change the color scheme.
Lively, I would say.
I'd say this
All
one
right.
needs some work. But
Just a little updated.
yeah.
Onward.
And next would be the master bedroom, which would have this bathroom as an ensuite.
Uh-huh. So this is the same
Exactly.
situation as
Extend
the
this
other end of the
down,
flat.
bring the light in.
Maybe some
But-
French doors in here, if possible.
Great. What's this, a little fireplace?
Yes,
Yeah.
so
That's terrific.
might refurbish that.
Is that it? End of the tour?
Now we've got
No.
one more room through here. It's, excuse me, the last one.
Not warm, is it?
No, that London chill penetrates to the bones, doesn't it?
Yep.
Hey, what are you going to do with this space?
It's going to be just a spare bedroom, guest bedroom. And over here, I don't know if you can see, we've got some dead space in through here, so we'll knock this out and put an extra bathroom in.
Great. Is that it?
No, not really. We've got one hidden asset. It's the roof, which we can put in on a terrace.
Let's have a
or
look at
whatever
that.
we want. Yeah. If you give me a hand with the ladder, we can get up there and look at it.
A terrace, huh? Well, there's no decking, and there's no railing, and you got to figure out some way to get up here. Other than that, you got a great view.
I think we could do something with it.
Okay, so we've seen it all. What do you suppose the square footage of this place is?
It's just under 1,000.
And can I be so bold as to inquire how much you paid for it?
We were very happy to get it at 165.
Wait a minute, 165,000 pounds, that's $300,000 US, and you still have to fix the whole place up?
But when you look at what it costs to either rent or buy a place that's already furnished, by the time we're done with it, we'll make money if we want to sell it. And
We think
be
we've
happy
done
with
very well.
You didn't overpay?
Not at all. A lot of the places we looked at, way above this price, we didn't like, and we didn't want to pay for somebody else's taste. And in fact, I can show you some if you've got some time.
I do. This I've got to see.
Okay.
Jeremy, we'll catch up with you later.
Great.
This really is one of the best areas in London. It's on a par with Belgravia. Most people think it's actually better than Mayfair.
Simone Skinner is an estate agent in a very nice part of town, Holland Park. Built in the 1860s as elegant single-family residences, Today, many of these homes have been cut up into numerous high-priced flats.
The first floors are really the best.
This is a wonderful entry hall here. You can imagine what this place was like when it was one house?
There are still quite a few single houses down here that are just used as one family residence.
Are there really?
Come in. Take you into the bedroom first of all.
Okay, so we come through this little entry hall into the bedroom.
Okay. People usually go for these rooms because you get the feeling of space and the high ceilings and the lovely bay windows here.
I love the trees out the windows.
Yeah.
All right. That's very nice.
Okay.
Lead on, please.
Okay.
Carla?
What someone could possibly do out here is create a cloakroom here, then put a partition here and make
Just off the bathroom here.
and make the bathroom ensuite into the bedroom, because this room does need quite a bit of work doing to it.
I see.
Someone would possibly put in a new suite and some marble, possibly.
I see, okay. So you would sell this place with the intention of
Possibly
somebody
doing work.
doing some work to it.
Morning, Miss Suji.
Hello. Living area here.
Living room here. Again, you could put some more ornate cornicing back into this room.
Because it's an old
fireplace here.
Victorian, it would
Yeah.
handle that kind of detailing, you're
Yeah.
saying.
And possibly a fireplace on the exterior wall there. Then this area here would be used as a study area or dining area. You've got your kitchen through there, which, although it's quite small, it's pretty compact. You've got fridge, oven,
Right.
sink.
Everything in there is
Hob in
like
there.
a galley kitchen on a sailboat. And then
Then
out onto a
through
little
here-
terrace.
What a lovely terrace.
Very nice.
This is south-facing, as is the garden, and you've got use of the garden here as well.
Now the flat itself is about 800 square feet, you
Yeah.
figure?
Roughly around
And
800.
what's the asking price?
199,500.
So 200,000 pounds is about $400,000. You have anything else to show us?
Yeah, I've got one more round the corner to show you.
All right.
Okay. We're still in the same area. This flat, unfortunately, isn't going to have the same sort of views as the one we've just seen. You're overlooking the road here, Holland Park Avenue. But the flats still sell extremely well down here. In fact, although we've been in a bit of a recession the past year, I would say the volume of sales down here has gone down, but not necessarily the prices at all.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, come on in. Caroline?
Thank you.
No, she's not here.
Right.
This is a slightly larger flat than the one we've just seen. We've got 2 bedrooms here. I'll start you at the front.
This is the main bedroom?
Yeah.
Nice big room. Very light, airy, but quite stripped of architectural detail.
Yes, you usually get the features on the ground and first floor flats in these buildings.
I see.
Not in the basements?
No. Got the bathroom here. It's quite a pleasant white suite you've got.
White suite?
It's just the colour of the bathroom.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's a new one.
Well, this is much bigger than the one we just saw.
Yeah, it's quite a well-fitted kitchen, and that door would lead you directly round to the side of the house where you've got the garden at the back.
The access is handy, isn't it?
Presumably you'd want to renovate this, though.
It's just a matter of taste, what people do to the flats.
Back in the central
Second
hall.
room at the back here,
Now, what would this be used for?
double bedroom or dining room possibly, because you've got access through to the living room
I
there.
see.
So that takes us through to the living room here.
Yes, if you go around to your left.
And a nice big room here. Very light and airy.
This area at the back is actually a private patio area for this flat,
Oh, that's great.
and then the garden's actually communal.
That's great. Yeah, you could do some barbecuing, even a little garden back
Yeah.
there. Well, I have to ask you the indelicate question, Simone.
It's 189,000.
All right, so it's a little bit less than the last one,
Yes.
but it is a basement apartment, and a basement apartment is a basement apartment the world around. So I'm starting to see that you probably did pretty well.
I'm glad you agree. It's a relief. But it's nice to add our own taste to somewhere, but there's still a lot of risk involved.
Well, there's always a bit of risk in a renovation project.
More so in London, I think. You have to apply for planning permission.
Was that a problem?
Yes, it is. It can be a bit of a hiccup. I think you should speak to Trevor Clapp, our architect, about
Okay,
that.
I will do that. Simone, if I ever need a flat in London, I shall contact you.
Okay.
Thank you very
That's
much.
all right.
Thank you, Simone.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Please.
We've got 2 problems with the building, and the building's in a conservation area. That means we're not only going to be dealing with the local authority planners, but the conservationists on the council as well. The problems with the building, firstly, the mansard extension, that's going to affect the facade of the building. The planners are going to be worried about that. Secondly, the roof terrace, that's a slight change of use within the building, and we're going to therefore need to provide some sort of a balustrade.
Why is that a problem?
It's likely the balustrade is going to have to be quite substantial to meet our regulations.
Which are?
The building regulations require us to have a balustrade which will support 8 kilonewtons being thrown at it. That's about 3 footballers rushing headlong.
Who are these planners exactly? Are they laymen or professionals or what?
In this country, planners are professional people. They make planning their business. They're educated through town planning institutes, and they will sit every day making judgments on people's planning applications.
So they're fair?
They certainly are.
They're firm?
Very.
And incorruptible?
Certainly.
All right. Now, how are we going to pitch them?
We'll be providing drawings, plan sections, but we're also going to be providing computer visualization for them. I've got one here from a scheme I've done previously.
So you've scanned a photograph or something into a computer?
We've taken a photograph, scanned it into the computer. This is the original. And we've then modelled this mansard extension and this mansard extension on this side to give the planners an idea of how the building will look when it's completed.
It looks extremely realistic.
That's the point about it. The planners can see exactly what they're going to be getting. That gives them confidence, and hopefully we get our permission slightly sooner than the 8 weeks' time.
So 8 weeks is the lead time?
Under statute, the planners have 8 weeks to determine the application, but I think it could take us a bit longer.
Now, if you were a betting man, what would you say our outcome would be?
I'd lay my money on the mansard extension. I don't think we'll have too much of a problem. The roof terrace, I think I'd give you 50-50.
Okay, well, we look forward to your next step, keeping our fingers crossed in the meantime. Thanks. Now, Norm's assignment was to go off and meet with our contractor, David Booth. Let's see how he made out.
It's an area called Bedford Park.
What's that all about?
Well, it was an area that started in about 1875. It was designed to be a nice place to live outside of the grime of the city centre.
I see.
So it's an area of about 24 acres, predominantly designed by an architect called Norman Shaw. And indeed, he designed this church here. He was very interested in the Queen Anne style of architecture, and you see this typically in these gates here.
Sure, all these nice turnings. I know it can be a real challenge to replicate something like this in a renovation.
Well, to be sure, and we've got to know some pretty good craftsmen who can meet that challenge. But I'd like to show you the place that we've got, and it's just around the corner.
Okay.
But this is very, very typical of Bedford Park area, with these railings here, which we see all around the houses. Semi-detached houses, detached houses, all with the same style, but having individual differences.
I see.
They're very interesting area.
Yeah, very subtle. Maybe the windows are a little different, or the millwork, the moldings. Now, I know that every house has its own particular maintenance problem. Something always goes first. What happens here?
Well, to be honest, it's the usual sort of problems with weatherproofing, roofing, timber-framed windows. And also, most of London's built on London clay. And in spite of today, we've had some pretty dry weather over the last 3 years. So we've had problems with cracking and settlement.
I see.
Well, this is it, Norm. It's a significant house. It's, in fact, a Grade 2 listed building, built in 1880. Which means it's of specific architectural interest.
I see. And what's the program here?
Well, we've been doing a lot of work inside on the ground floor. Bathroom, ground floor bathroom, the hallway, 3 reception rooms, kitchen, and also up on the first floor. Let's nip in around the back way and let me show you what we've been doing.
Okay.
This is the back garden, Norm. Really quite a good size for this part of London.
Must be really nice out here in the summer.
It really is. You must come back. This is going to be the dining room. It was very dark and dingy when we started work here. We've taken out a lot of bookshelves here, recycled them upstairs. New radiator casement here. This window was rotten, so we've had to recreate this to match the adjoining windows.
Okay.
But here was much more major work. There was a single doorway here, and we've opened out to these very attractive double doors with the glass panels. So as you're coming through the house, it's really opened it out, and you can see straight through, right into the garden.
That's nice.
Again, a lot of work here with new tongue and groove, new dado, new skirting, new radiator boxes. And round here, the tongue and grooves carried up the stairs. And while this wasn't strictly necessary, under the stairs there was a big plaster belly, and we'd taken it out and formed the steps here to make it really a more interesting approach as you're coming through the front door.
So a visual attraction to that. Yeah.
Let's have a look at the kitchen.
Okay.
In here we had a requirement from the homeowner to create this work surface here, which we've done in solid oak.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, she's very happy with it, and again we routed in the drain holes, put in what was originally here big sinks, which again was a requirement of the homeowner.
Well, now I'm starting to see exactly what you do. Nothing is off the shelf. Everything is custom. You've made the countertop on the job, you had special windows made, and that's what you do.
Well, really, that's what we enjoy doing. We don't want to make 100 of the same things. We like recreating what was here originally in the same fashion and the style.
That looks great. Now, what's happening here?
Well, this is a 9-inch solid brick wall, as is common with a lot of houses of this age. So if you've got to do some wiring, it's channeling and making good afterwards.
And nothing's easy.
That's all a challenge. This is going to be our showpiece, Norm. We're doing a lot of good finish work here and some cabinetry work with shelves all over this back wall here. Here's one of our carpenters. This is Jim.
Jim
McNorm. We call them chippies here.
Chippies,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is really going to be a magnificent room, and I'd very much like you to come back and see it when it's finished.
I would like to come back. Well, while you've been giving me the tour here, my partner has been looking at our subject house, which I believe you've already taken a tour through.
Yeah, it looks like an exciting project.
Right. Well, how about we go over and kick the tires?
Kick the what?
Kick the tires, you know, take a look at it.
Okay.
Well, Norm and David, you've both had a chance to go through the building. How does it look from a contractor's perspective?
Well, we've got lots of issues to be resolved here, Steve, and indeed this is one of them. The guys down below, to maximise their floor area, have increased the pitch of the staircase here, and that's given us now insufficient headroom on our staircase.
So does that mean that we're going to have to rip out all this lovely joiner work?
Yeah, we're going to have to redesign it to comply with building regulations, and also we're going to have to do it in such a way that we don't interfere with the window on the landing to keep our homeowner happy.
Oh boy, that sounds complicated. Norm, your turn.
Well, Steve, I have some concerns also, and one of them is out here on this front area of the house where they want to make a hole and expand the dormer. That means going right to the outside in the middle of a London winter, which means rain and snow, and that concerns me.
Well, it concerns me too, I can tell you, because we've got to have to make this place watertight. And we also want to light it as well, so we could got long working hours.
Well, you know, I've seen a lot of temporary waterproofing structures, and they don't always work. What would really bother me is that I noticed the guy down below is into finished plaster, and he's going to be putting mahogany ceilings in a few days.
We've got to be watertight.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, a few problems. Now what about structure, Norm? Our homeowners want to take this wall out and this wall out as well.
Well, I was looking around, there was a hole in the ceiling that I could take a look at what the framing was up above, and you can see here are the ceiling joists running this way, and above it are timbers running across, which form the roof deck. Now these timbers rest on this wall, so we know this wall is carrying some of the load, and I wouldn't be surprised that when we get here, it jumps to here, and this wall is now picking up some of the structure. So, you know the old rule, if you remove structure, you have to replace it, so it might need a beam.
Okay, do you agree with that, David?
I hope I do. My only potential problem could be that we've got a big timbered A-frame here resting on a large joist down below and carrying the load, and that means this wall's taking the load rather than that one. And we won't really know that until we strip out.
Strip out, that means gut the place, right? And you're going to have tons of plaster and debris. And I notice out front there, you just got a little tiny dumpster. I think you call them a skip.
And it's not even ours. We've got a license on this building, whole building, for one skip, and that belongs to the builder down below. But we have negotiated with him that we can use that for a couple of weeks to strip out here. But we're also going to have a good skip company, because we're going to fill that in a few hours, and he's going to be ready and waiting with an empty skip for us.
So there's lots to consider on this job. Norm, I know that you've got to catch the late flight back. David, thank you. I've got a meeting with the homeowners to bring them your thoughts, as well as those of the planning authorities. So, cheerio.
Cheers.
Well, it seems like a pretty nice flat to me. All freshly painted, and of course it is a new building within an old complex. Is that right?
That's right. I mean, obviously it's great what a cover of pink can do, but it is an old warehouse, and it's an area that was the Docklands of London. It's isolated, and it's fairly grim and dreary at night.
So you're saying this is in an old warehouse district, it's just sort of been carved out, and there's nothing around here?
That's right.
No community at all?
No.
No. I mean, you've basically got sort of old dockland community packed in with the uppies. No stores, no restaurants, really no character. And the flats themselves are fairly poorly constructed.
Now, what do you have to spend to rent a flat like this?
Oh, it's yours for only £800.
£800 translates into what, $1,400 or so?
Yeah.
All right. But consider the other side of it. Over at Pembridge Place, you have bought in, you own it. Now you face a long and expensive construction process. David Booth and Norm Abram, our builders, have come back and said they have some questions about the structure. And our architect has come back and said you face a long and potentially arduous process with the planning authorities. You're going to put a lot of money into it, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So are you up for that?
Yeah, it comes down to two things. First of all, we've lived for a long time in Tokyo and Hong Kong, places where you can spend $3,000 to $4,000 a month in rent. And when we left there, we decided the one thing we wanted to do was own somewhere. And that being said, we came here, we looked around, and in terms of money, we decided the best way to spend it would be to buy somewhere, put money into it, and we'd end up with a place much better than what we could afford.
Aren't you a little scared about spending all this money, Carl?
It's very scary, but at the end of the day, I think we're both very optimistic. We've never had this opportunity before.
So we can't talk you out of it?
No.
It's too late anyway.
Well, I guess we'll help you. So by the time we come back to London, we should have an update on the planning process. And your flat should be stripped out to the bare walls, and hopefully we can begin some framing. So until then, I'm Steve Thomas for This Old House.
Funding for This Old House is provided by Parks Corporation, makers of safe and simple, environmentally responsible stains and finishes that enrich, protect, and preserve the natural beauty of wood. And by
State Farm Insurance, keeping our promise of protection with auto, home, life and health insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is PBS.